You are listening to the Awake Athlete Podcast. I'm Jessica Mikowski, endurance athlete and mindset coach, here to share with you perspectives and contemplations from a 10,000-foot view of life. Welcome back to another episode of the Awake Athlete Podcast. I'm in my closet with my Night Scout hat on, and I'm ready to roll here. I'm going to drop some information that's moving through me on awakening. This is the Awake Athlete Podcast after all, you guys. And I believe that awakening really, it's about recognizing or realizing. We have to recognize first, but then realizing that the power we have to choose, the power we have to use our free will to choose our response in any situation, which leads directly to our state of being and how we feel, which leads to our reality and the circumstances that we're living. When we realize how powerful that free will we have to choose, we're kind of screwed because we can't go back, right? So the things that used to crop up in our life that, we would get so upset about and get people on board and try and be right. Can you believe this person did this? Like all of that just loses its validity pretty quick. And because you're realizing that you are what I hope you all understand or are beginning to embody, that you are powerful co-creators in your life experience. And co-creation meaning you're a co-creator with the universe. You're a co-creator with the energy that is holding planetary alignment, allowing the earth to rotate at the exact right speed, and not to mention allowing gravity to be intact. There is an energy that is creating all of this. And sure, we can look to science and we can say, well, science says it's this and science says it's that. But science also says that they really only have been able to identify about 10% of what's available, that 90% is dark energy and dark matter. It's really the unknown. It's the abyss of the universe. And so, whoa, the abyss of the universe. How could we ever begin to quantify that? So awakening begins with this realization that oh my gosh, maybe there's another reality that's available for me. And it doesn't have to be a whole new reality, but if there's a part of your life that's in disharmony, you've got a huge say in how long that disharmony stays around. You have a huge say in that for sure. We meditate. That's the key to this work, because meditation opens us. If we're locked down and we're dense and we're in the conditioned mind about what we believe, and I'm Republican and you're Democratic and you're the Green Party and I'm a girl and you're a guy. And if you're locked down, seriously, if we're locked down in all these labels, I know that sounds crazy, right? But we're attached to those labels as being true. We're attached to the truth that I am a female. And yes, I am a female in this existence, but I am not a female. I am the energy that is a co-creator with the universe. I am made of the energy that creates worlds. So meditation opens us. So it unconstricts, it unlocks, it allows us to relax, it allows our nervous system to be soothed, no matter how frustrating the meditation is. It opens us up because our intention is to commune with the part of us that is already open. And that's a really subtle energy. It's a very subtle energy. And so we have a great relationship with the dense energies. We have a really good relationship with looking at a farm table and saying, oh, that's a beautiful farm table. That's a beautiful place to gather with my family. And we have labels for everything, and we have defined what it is that we can define. And science continues to be on the leading edge of identifying more things for us. And so we're expanding naturally, because that is our essence also, is to expand. But the awake athlete plays on the other side where science ends and the unknown and that 90%'s hanging out. That's where an awake athlete is desiring to hang out. That's where I like to hang out. So meditation, it's wake, pee, meditate, because as we go to this part of us that's more open, we're tuning our energy, tuning our vibration to these more subtle, these higher frequencies. So if you ever travel on an airplane, meditate. You're at 35,000 feet. Are you kidding me? Like, yes, you're in a pressurized cabin, but you just believe that you're separate from the outside. You're not separate from the outside. You're not separate from the totality of all that is. So you are at 35,000 feet. Meditate. It's more subtle energy. So you have an opportunity to get into a deeper meditation. The other thing is, you're welcome, all the passengers on the plane. Now, if you work with me, then you've heard this spiel before, right? It's like, get on the plane and be like, oh, you're welcome, and you're welcome, and you're welcome, because I'll be in 19B meditating and surrounding this plane in white light. But it is a really cool experience to do. And so meditation helps us tune, right? If everything is energy, what are we tuned into? And disharmony and frustration comes in this dissonance between our reality and our desires. Think about it as like a radio station, okay? Like, we don't question radio waves. We don't question that. We don't question our cell service. We just get frustrated when we don't have it. Like, we don't question these things because they've been proven, right? Well, the same thing goes for us as energetic beings. We are always tuned into a station. So if I'm tuned into 101.5, there is no way in heck I'm going to be hearing 105.6. And I love 105.6. I say, oh my gosh, all I want is more of 105.6. But I will never hear that music and give myself the enjoyment of 105.6 if I'm stuck on the other station and I'm not willing to back away, zoom out. 10,000 feet is my preferable distance, and see that we're saying that we want one thing, but we're doing another. And that's a whole loaded, beautiful, amazing place where we just keep ourselves so stuck. But here's the deal, right? Think about yourself as a musician. You're a musician of your human body. You want to tune. You want to tune all the time, right? ABT, always be tuning. Because the more tuning we do, the more experience we're going to have at 105.6. And the more experience that we have there, the more faith we're going to have that we can continue to have that experience. Does that make sense? The more tuning we do, the more we are tending to our vibration, the more experience we are going to have consciously in that vibration, whether good or bad. As we notice the bad, because we're already awakened and we're kind of screwed because we can't go back now, right? We can't go back now. We've already identified what the ego is and we're drooling over mastery. We can't go back now. So as we find ourselves in the disharmony, when we find ourselves blaming others for our predicament, and we are like, oh, I can't do this anymore because it's season 2 and I'm an awake athlete, we need to shift. We need to say, what can I be grateful for here? What can I take a breath right now? Can I get into the pause? Can I get into the gap? Can I use my free will to be the powerful being I came here to be? It's about meditating and opening, and what you desire is going to not be something you need to make a list about. You're just going to know, and you're going to know in every moment, and you're going to know how to tune better and better every day in every way. And so the experience that we get from tuning ourselves ever so slightly in a moment, we gain faith. Because now we have more physical evidence that, oh my gosh, I can have more of this in my life. And so what does that take? Like, what does it take to really stay on this path to awakening? And it takes 2 things. Super easy. You ready? Utter detachment and unwavering dedication. And this is easy, you guys, because we are athletes. And this is what we do. We see a goal, We hone a desire. We use our focus. We use our strength and power. And we move ourselves every day towards that goal. The suffering comes when we are attached, when we need it to be in a certain timeline or to unfold in a certain way. And when we feel the suffering, that is an opportunity to tune, right? ABT, always be tuning. And the faith, you guys, is the trust. But we have to be willing to be quiet. We have to be willing to meditate and be quiet first. Because here's the way it goes. Quiet first, then knowledge. Knowledge is in the silence. And silence is what we want to attune to. It's like we want to match its key code, its vibration. And when we do that, when we attune to the silence by just being there, and not judging how busy the mind is, but continuing to bring ourselves back to the silence every time we find ourselves caught up in the commentary, we gain access to a library of knowledge. And every single step along this path, every moment of tuning, like the musician that you are, none of it is a waste. And as we gain more faith, as faith becomes more robust, like the faith in this life, like this really amazing life that we're here to live, this life of freedom, as we gain more faith through experience because we are tuning, everything begins to shift and we begin to live from a place of understanding that we must believe it in order to see it, and moving away from the see it in order to believe it, which is it works, but oh man, it is such a slow process. When we realize that our thoughts are things and they are vibration and the universe only knows vibration, then wouldn't it make sense for us to start using our imagination to purposefully direct thoughts in a repetitive manner towards a new belief? So I'm going to leave you with this cool story about believing it to see it, as it still is unfolding. When we first moved here at the end of December 2016, it was that winter, 2016, 2017, that I started to get familiar with the fact like, oh my God, there are dolphins right here, and there are seals, and there are whales, especially in the winter. This is where we see the whales. And I had caught something online about whales breaching off of Carlsbad Beach, which is at the end of our street. And I was like, and I still am like, I'm going to see a whale breach, right? Because I've got the evidence right there. Somebody saw it. So of course it's going to happen again, right? And so I'm going to start creating the belief, and I'm just getting excited about it because I can see it, right? I've had the physical evidence of seeing it in the picture. And now I'm going to create in my mind, like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So just the other day, I was on a run and I just look out and something, again, just being guided like, oh, go this way by the lagoon and take it up from the top as opposed to coming on the bottom. And I just follow that. I love to just go out and be like, take a right, take a left. And I was up on this like pretty high bluff over the lagoon and I saw all this activity, and then I kept watching it. And then as I got closer to the beach, I got down onto the boardwalk and I looked over to where all this activity was with birds and dolphins. And I looked, and this dolphin came flying out of the water, and just wiggling and having so much fun, and did it time and time and time again. And it just reminded me of these whales and that I've been imagining, and that it's December of now 2020, 3 years later, and just all that joy and seeing and understanding as an awake athlete that that's the universe saying, it's coming, but here's a little something, and can you just be happy with this? So I thought that was pretty cool. So I will definitely report when I do see those whales breach, because, I've seen it in my mind a million times. And so stay with it. Stay with the podcasts. The podcast, as I share through experience, is giving you evidence. It is strengthening your faith in what it is that you want to achieve or shift in your life. The podcast could be your teacher right now, and that will help you to continue to tune and wake up. Because the peace that we all desire to see in the world, the health that we desire to see in the world, the abundance that we desire to see in the world, you guys, all of this is in that beautiful energy that we are tuning to every day, a little bit, over a long period of time as awake athletes. Thank you for being on this journey with me.